You're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers, brought to you by the Cork and Stogie, 1218 Duval Street, Key West, Florida. The facts and opinions of the show and its staff are prone to exaggeration, error, and conjecture, and are often given under the influence, always given under the influence of drinking beer. After all, this is a beer show. It's about beer, and we are busily drinking it while discussing its merits, so what did you expect? Slurring, laughing loudly, name-calling, and belching are par for the course, so it's best if you imbibe with us in a responsible manner, just to get into the spirit. We always welcome your comments, whether we actually pay attention to them or not. Thanks for listening.
Hey! All right. Welcome to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers. I'm Key West Chris, your host.
I'm Danny Hoy,
Cowboy Mark.
And Dave Sr.
and we're drinking beer.
We're drinking beer. This is the Key
That's
West
the Cork
Beer
and
Tales.
Stogie.
We've started already.
1218 Duval Street here in sunny Key West, Florida.
That's why we live here.
We have an interesting show tonight because we're showcasing one particular brewery's beers. Three of theirs. And right now, Dave Sr., you have how many beers of theirs currently on the shelf or in the...
Nine
On
different
tap, total?
styles, nine different labels, I should say.
Yeah.
And, of course, some of those have just arrived in Key West. We were the first to get some of those and tried to support Larry and his Bell's
Larry.
Brewery. Yeah,
Larry who?
Larry Bell.
Bell. So,
Ding,
yeah,
ding,
it's
ding,
the
ding.
it's the Bell's Brewery's beers that we're having tonight.
Yeah, sure is.
I think that should be our social.
I think that's a great
Is that
idea.
all
Mark.
right?
Bell.
So cheers to Bells. There we go. And that's perfect.
Danny, now, you forgot to bring the bells, but however, you did bring a tambourine.
Yes.
Close enough.
Cool.
It's not the bells.
No.
Or the whistles.
We don't have any bells.
No, we don't. Maybe we should change that.
Okay.
Ding dong bells.
Well, I
Ding dongs.
Yeah, ding dogs. The
Y'all,
ding dogs.
y'all a bunch of ding dongs.
Larry's next beer will be tambourine.
Tambourines for sure.
Temperate. Well, we hope, again, we hope you're drinking with us. We're going to go to your refrigerator if you haven't already and grab yourself a beer. And we're going to talk about these three different Bell's beers that we have tonight. And they're all marvelous beers. We love Bell's. And the first beer we're going to have is their Mercury beer. Okay.
It's not the poisonous beer.
The Winged Messenger, kind of like the old car that they used to make, but they stopped making it a couple of years ago. Named after the same person.
Also named after the Greek god Mercury.
Yeah.
Of course,
Who was
yeah.
featured also on a dime at one point.
Yes.
On a dime, yes.
Indeed.
The Mercury
Yeah.
dime.
The Mercury
Yeah.
dime.
Now this series is based on a symphony called "The Planets" by Gustav Holst, Holst, and lots of great music. So look it up. But we're drinking a couple of those planets today,
Yeah, yep.
which makes me think of gravity.
Gravity is one of the ways they measure the alcohol potential of a beer.
Oh, really? Is
Yes,
that
on
true?
gravity, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Matter of fact, they might even have that here.
I don't think
I'm
they
not
have it
sure.
on that one. They had it on the last.
Okay,
the
yeah,
last
they
one.
might not have. Yeah, I don't think they had it on all of them. It doesn't show on this one, no.
And I think
Very
in
scientific.
Europe they used the Plato gravity unit
Yeah, on the continent they do.
on the continent.
I remember years ago, the Czech beer Pilsner Urquell used to have the Plato rating right on the beer, and everybody thought it was an alcohol rating.
Yeah.
It was 12 degrees Plato, and everyone thought it meant 12% alcohol.
Oops.
And of course, when we reviewed it back, 6-8 months ago, we found that it had I think it was like 4.8 or something.
Yeah, 4.8.
Something right around there. Not too powerful, but a marvelous beer.
This Mercury is 4.8, by
Is
the
it?
way. Yeah,
There you go.
ABV, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Nice.
That stands for alcohol by volume. And if you've ever heard this show before, you should know that. But if you haven't, and
You
you're
might-
just tuning in now, and you're a novice beer drinker, ABV is alcohol by volume.
In years past, in the United States, they used alcohol by weight.
Yes.
So they don't use that anymore here, fortunately.
but
It
this
was
is
very
a
confusing.
very light straw-colored beer. It's definitely it's delicious. It's a Belgian single. What is single? Because I know we've talked about there's singles, doubles, and triples, but this
And
is
quads as well.
Yeah. Like I never heard it called a single.
It all revolves around how they marry people. You have single people that
No,
aren't married.
wait.
You have
No, that's not
Two-
true.
No, that's
Bring the tambourine on him.
No tambourine.
Oops. Yeah, no. We're gonna leave that alone. I can't find it.
Oh,
down there.
shucks.
But I will tell you, as far as singles, doubles, triples, and quads, the alcohol level increases. It's usually around the 4.5-5% for the single,
Yeah.
and then it goes from there. So the triples are usually around the 9, and the quads are 10, 12,
Upwards,
14.
yeah.
Yeah. So the alcohol level goes up. Now, the question for me is, that's about all I know about the difference between the single quad. Is there do they brew it single and brew it double? Do they double brew? Do they quad brew? I don't know the
How do you
answer to
mean?
that. Is it a single brew that makes it a single, or is it the alcohol level that makes it a single?
It would be the alcohol level. They don't brew the beer twice. I'm
Yeah, that's
if
why
answering
yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yeah, I'm asking a really
Yeah.
stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question. There's no such thing as stupid questions because, everybody has to learn something sometime, and that's not a stupid question at all. But they're going to brew a beer to a specific gravity, as we were talking before, and that's what's going to determine if it's single, double, triple, quad, things like that. So, yeah, there's all kinds of funny rumors that go around about brewing. I remember with Guinness, it was just people in Ireland at the time, just being remote, and it was in the 1850s or 60s. They thought that there's this one story that they threw a black man into the brew, and that's what made it black. I mean, you get all kinds of crazy stuff where people think different things, and rumors go around, and they're all, of course, have no basis, but people don't know that.
Well, that's a really weird idea.
Yeah, I mean, but it happens in other things. You hear these other things where they say, well, another thing with Guinness was like, oh, well, Guinness is the bottom of the barrel beer. They sell the rest of the beer as light, and you get down to the bottom, and it would be the bottom of the barrel. Well, that's not true either. It's brewed as a certain type of beer from the get-go.
I really like this beer. A lot of when I think of Mercury, for instance, the planet, I think it's a very small planet, very quick, close to the sun, and this beer drinks very easily. It's very mild. It's very fruity and herby and
Herbaceous.
herbaceous. It's really great to drink.
It's also very sharp.
It is sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp as
another
Mark.
thing, Dave. I'll have to ask Dave Senior this because Dave Senior has the in with Larry Bell, the owner and brewer. He has a whole series of Planet beers.
Yes.
Are we going to be seeing more of those? Do you know?
Yes, I sure hope so. Now, this specific one was actually not available in Key West, but it was available in South Florida, and it was picked up by Brian, and Brian brought it in for us as a few samples, so we decided to taste it tonight because
This is courtesy of Brian then.
yeah. So we got the Jupiter in, and there was one case in South Florida, and we got that case, and that's the next one of the beers we're going to do tonight in the Planet series is Jupiter. That did come directly from our distributor, and but the Mercury is from Brian.
Oh, okay.
So the Mercury is
That's
technically
off the-
contraband.
Yeah, it's contrabands. Please send us contraband.
This,
like
this,
that.
this
Yeah.
is the second time I'm indebted to Brian because earlier within the last week, you and I drove around the island in his 1970 MG.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Filmed it. I watched those
did a whole
videos.
video on it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Made you want to be in Key West.
I can't think of any other. There's plenty of reasons to be in Key West. Riding around in a really cool car is probably one of them.
And then stopping here and drinking beer. I mean,
That's
right.
Well, beginning in August 2014 and ending in July 2015, they've been going around with these planet beers, starting with Mars, Venus, Mercury is the third beer, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, or
beg your
Uranus,
I beg your pardon?
and Neptune.
That's
So-
what she said.
There's 7 planets for you.
They have Jupiter on there, right? Did you hear about the
Yeah, it's a fourth one.
Did you hear about they've come to a conclusion that there actually is an underground ocean on one of Jupiter's moons?
I wouldn't be
it's
surprised.
supposed to be like warm water, although
Yeah.
the crust of it is actually frozen.
Right, the outside of it is frozen, but underneath there's
Warmer
actually
liquid water.
That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
And there's a potential with the water not being frozen and it's moving that there's actual some type of life in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's really fascinating.
yeah.
Extremophiles.
Yeah.
So this has an interesting nose. Does anyone want to say anything about that before I go into my insanity?
Go into your insanity.
Prefer you go into your insanity because I did notice the nose too. It's very
This is like
wet.
yes,
It's a wet nose.
it's like apple juice
Oh,
meets wet tree bark, and a little bit of dog.
A little bit, a hint of a wet dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's really a fresh scent.
crisp, and not wet dog in the sense of like saltwater wet dog, which is kind of wet dogs we have around here.
Yeah.
But like a clean wet dog. If that makes any sense.
This is actually a very refreshing beer at the same time. It's
Like apple juicy,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
and sweet. It's
or
very
pear.
sweet.
Pear.
Yeah, a little bit of pear in there. Yeah.
I like it.
pear. So.
Touch like hint of citrus.
I
Nice.
find a big hint of citrus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a very
in the-
specific citrus flavor.
No,
there's a
no,
lot
just-
of it there.
yeah.
It's not like a grapefruit. It's not like an orange.
No,
it's
you
certainly
couldn't
not
identify it.
lemon, and it's not lime.
It's
But
that
like-
old citrus juice pear.
Yeah,
But it's not. It's certainly not an orange.
that's true.
It's more closely related to the lime or the lemon, but there's not no definition to it.
I would evaluate this as what time of the day to drink this beer is all day, and then I'd switch to something later in the night.
Yeah, this is
All
a
day,
daytime
I would
beer.
get up in the morning, have this with a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sip the coffee, sip the beer.
if I could do anything that I wanted to, I would get up in the morning and drink this beer.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
You can do that tomorrow.
With a fruit cup.
I can, but then I'd go back to bed. Dave, I think your cup runneth empty.
Yeah, but we're out of the Mercury, so we can go to the next beer.
No, I think we have one more.
Oh,
We have one more. Well, we should do like pairings.
Yeah.
Let's do cigar pairing. So
well,
let me bring you into this. So Dave, on the Mercury, what do you think would be a good cigar pairing for that one?
I think this one is the Camacho Connecticut shade. Nice and light, easy going. This beer, this beer almost is cigarless because it's nice and light. But the Camacho Connecticut would be the one.
So this is tobacco from Connecticut.
Actually, this specific one is Connecticut shade, not tobacco from Connecticut. But
Okay.
any Connecticut wrapper on a cigar would do on this one. I just happened to be mentioned. The only thing I mentioned is cigars that I have.
Yeah.
So rather than
yeah.
just pick out of the air, yeah.
One of the things I remember you were saying, Dave, is that this beer, or possibly the Jupiter, would not be available after this in Florida after this was gone, or something of that nature.
Very limited release on this. These beers were only released to certain places at certain times. Kind of a reward beer for people, for establishments to carry bells.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of their reward beers, and they didn't make a tremendous amount, and I don't know the amount. But there was
I don't know if I would say reward. It's more of a thank you.
more of a thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
more of a thank you
Yeah.
for carrying our beer. Here's one of our special lineups, and this will be the only beer of this one, the Mercury. This will be the only Mercury you'll have, and when we taste the Jupiter later, that'll be the end of the Jupiter, and
Yeah,
that'll be the only Jupiter you taste.
Because you often carry the Bell's Two Hearted Ale and Oberon.
Yep, the old standbys from Bell's that
Yeah.
have been down here for years. Yeah,
Yeah. Which are great. Absolutely great.
yeah, they're really, really nice beers.
But I'm really enjoying this because it's a really delicious, flavorful and just really nice drinking beer. Nice
Yeah.
drinking. It's delicious for the palate. It's very clean and fruity, and can't say enough about it, I guess.
So my pairing